All right. So on the business stuff, I have two thoughts. One, a lot of our students are looking to pursue the job placement with, at this point, Fitness World, and they run their business in a certain way, and they do it in a very fitness focused way. So, um, like gym for gym, they hire more personal trainers than any other business in British Columbia. So if I'm a personal trainer, then I want to go to a place where trainers work and are full time and are busy and can work with clients and can develop and get better over time. So like, for example, if you were to look at, say, going to be a trainer at the rec center, there's personal training there, but it's not really a big focus for them, right? They do after school programs and swimming lessons and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, you could be a personal trainer there, but there's not really a big push for people to get a trainer at the rec center. Like that's not really what their focus is. They might not really have someone whose job is helping you become a better trainer or learning how to gain clients or whatever. They might, but it might be a part-time job or something like that. So you can be a trainer there, and that's great. If that works for you, fine. I want to talk about the business that is driving training, that's driving fitness services, that's driving personal trainers, right? So I sort of look at it as a numbers game a little bit. If you're like, I want to be a good trainer and I want to work with clients and I want to get busy, well, then I want to go to the place that's doing the most of that and has like dedicated people that make that happen. Like the reality is my job, director of fitness education, no other gym chain in BC has a director of fitness education. So my job description, my job title, which is helping trainers get certified and then helping them get CECs and then helping them continue to learn and grow and develop, I only get to do that job because Fitness World is like, yeah, you know what? That's important. Our trainers are going to be better if they have that kind of support, right? So for me, that's one of the reasons I joined the company originally, sort of 7.5 years ago, was I joined as a trainer, but what I thought was really cool was the company had an education team. And I was like, oh, it's really awesome. I believe in that, / maybe one day I can join the education team, right? So I think that's pretty important. And if you're a new trainer and you're still needing to learn things, then maybe that's a great idea. So like I'm not hiding the fact that I think it's a very good idea to go work for Fitness World because I think you're going to learn stuff and you're going to get to come back and take more courses from me. And there's a manager there who's going to help you. And there's peers there that are going to help you. And I was actually just on Zoom earlier today with someone that we've brought on. And his job title is the director of fitness. And we had a conversation today and he's super passionate about education. So I make it no secret that I think that's a really great way to go. It's not the only way to go. And I've certainly worked as a trainer in lots of other ways. But as we talk about this business of PT stuff, part of what I'm going to do is sort of say, based on where you're starting from, this is kind of why I think it would be good to start working in a place where you can learn more, right? So that's one thing. I've added in some stuff into the business section that's geared pretty specifically around how Fitness World runs their personal training business. My second thought about the business section is the way PTA Global organizes it doesn't really make sense to me because in my mind, I've been a trainer for a long time and I've worked in lots of different cities, lots of different gyms, lots of different countries. I sat down and counted it up once. I started from 0 clients 15 times. So I started at a new gym or a new company or a new city 15 times. And so I had to go from 0 to full time 15 times. So for me, the business of personal training, I feel like I've done it a bunch of times. And for me, it happens in a certain order. First, you have to have a plan and a structure for how you're going to run your business. Then you have to go and get clients. And then once you have clients, you want to try to keep them. Right? But if you have 0 clients and you have no plan, you just walk into the gym and you're like, oh man, I need clients. What are you going to do? So that's what I did with the business section. I took the notes from PTA Global that are exam relevant. I just reorganized them. And so today we're going to look at business planning. And then let's say we do Tuesday next week, we'll look at gaining clients. And then if we go Thursday next week, we'll look at now maintain your business. So client retention. So if you've gone into the business section already and you started looking at all of the PTA Global content, that's fine. I'm just not necessarily going to teach it in the same order. So I don't want you to be confused if you think I'm missing something. It's just because I'm doing it in a different order. Okay. So let's take a look. We've got about, maybe about 20 slides in this section. So when you become a trainer, once you're certified, you've got a couple different options for how you're going to do the job, right? So we could make it really simple and we could say, are you going to be an employee, a contractor, or an owner? Those would sort of be the big umbrellas. So a couple of things to keep in mind when we look at all the research, when we look at all the data, starting a small business can be pretty tough. 95% of all businesses fail within the first 5 years, and the average entrepreneur fails about 3.8 times before they finally succeed. So what does it take to be successful? These are notes that I added. As a trainer, you have to be good at service, science, and sales, right? So you got to give great service. You want to actually deliver results. You got to use science, right? And you have to be able to sell yourself. Because until the government decides that everybody should have a trainer and personal training is just free, you actually have to get someone to spend their hard-earned money on working with you, right? So service, science, and sales is kind of like the triple threat. And if you're like, wow, I'm really good at science, but I don't feel super confident at sales, well, then you got to go work on sales. If you feel like you're actually really great at service, but your science isn't like quite there yet, well, then you got to go learn more science, right? So that's what you got to be able to do as a trainer. And ultimately that'll yield client results and client retention. Now, if on top of that, you also want to be a contractor or you want to run your own business, well, now you have to know how to run a business. And so there's a whole bunch of other stuff that comes up when you run a business. And it's things like, real estate or tenancy rules, cleaning, ordering supplies, the layout of the gym, what type of equipment you want, the hardware or software that you're going to use to track your business. Are you going to have a website? How are you going to do advertising and marketing, accounting, hiring, developing, paying staff? Right? Like what services and what prices are you going to charge? How do you educate yourself? How do you grow your business over time? So the reason why I'm really recommending that you be an employee for a while is because I want you to practice your service, science, and sales. I want you to train clients. I want you to work with clients over a period of time. I want you to gain clients. I want you to lose clients. I want you to gain new clients. I want you to figure all of that out for a while first. And then if you still want to go run a business, okay, we'll do that next, right? But I think you got to learn how to be a trainer first, and then you can learn how to run a business. So for me, I was a group fitness instructor and a trainer for 5 years. And then I went and opened up my own studio. And there was so much that I had to learn to run a studio. And it took up a lot of time. So then I didn't even get to train as much. So ultimately for me, I didn't really like it as much. But we were successful. I just didn't like it as much. I don't think we would have been successful if I wasn't even a good trainer yet, right? So that's definitely something to think about. Now, examples of an entrepreneur. You could work out of your garage. You could operate an outdoor boot camp in the summer. Maybe you're going to own a franchise. So like F45 is an example. That's a franchise. Maybe you want to own your own little studio, or maybe you want to own a gym. There's little local gyms all over the place. Someone owns those, right? Maybe you want to be an online trainer or focus more on program design. So those are all ways that you're in charge of everything, right? Now, a contractor is maybe where you're working out of a local gym. You've got an hourly fee or maybe a monthly rental rate. There was about a month over COVID where all the gyms were closed and I still want to do a little bit of training. So there was a little private training gym up the road for me. And I paid $20 an hour to take a client to the gym and train them. So then let's say I charge my client 60, I'm actually making 40 because I gotta pay 20 to the gym. And then I'm not really making 40 because I gotta pay for my insurance and I gotta, all that other stuff. But that would be an example of a contractor. And then you've got the employee, and that's where you go to work for someone. So the Fitness World gyms or the Club 16s, the Anytime Fitness, all that kind of stuff, that's being an employee. Okay. So I like to start, when I was a fitness manager, I would hire a trainer. We would always sit down and we would set some goals around their business, right? So I think we've got to start from there. So things to think about. How are you going to meet your expenses while you build your client base? So when you first get started, you've got 0 clients, right? Or maybe 1 or 2 if you've got some friends that have been waiting to train with you. But if let's say you currently have a job, like Toko's got a full-time job. Let's say you're like, okay, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to start training clients. If you have to like pay a mortgage, pay your bills, pay your car payment, pay your phone payment, when you first start, you have no clients, you don't make very much money right away. So if you have a lot of bills to pay, you might have to figure out, well, I'm going to keep my job part-time and then I'm going to start training part-time, or maybe I have to keep my job full-time and start training at night after work. Like you've got to figure that out because the reality is your first couple of paychecks aren't very good, but then you build it up and then you get to the point where you're like, okay, cool. I'm now making something, right? So that's definitely something to think about. Additionally, how much time am I going to spend doing this? Do I want to be part-time? Do I want to be full-time? What hours do I want to work? Do I want to work in the morning? Do I want to work at night? Do I want to split my day? Right? Do I want to work on the weekends? And ultimately, what you got to figure out is like, how much do I want to be able to earn from this? So we talked about SMART goals, smarter goals at the beginning. I think we should have a SMART goal for our business as well. So the more specific the goal, the more focused and directed the action plan, right? So let's say that my specific goal is I want to work towards becoming a full-time trainer. So let's say by the end of January, I want to be a full-time trainer. I want to be training 25 sessions a week. All right. I'm gonna do this in detail with you a second. Let me get through SMART goals and then we'll create a specific example. So once we have a specific goal, then we can break it down into smaller subunits. So if I'm making it measurable, that allows me to evaluate on a regular basis if I'm getting the desired result that I'm looking for. And the achievable part's really important here. Now, when we did motivational goals, we said attractive, right? What's attractive about it? But in this case, when we're creating a business goal, we want to figure out whether or not it's achievable based on how detailed the plan is. So the thing to keep in mind is the more ambitious the goal, the greater the desire, motivation, and work ethic it's going to take to get there, right? So if I want to gain 5 clients, okay, if I want to gain 25 clients, that's going to take a lot more work, right? So then the specific details of my plan are going to be what gets me there based on doing that work, okay? Relevance, when you think about where to go to work, I think it's important that your goal matches where you work. So if you want to do a lot of one-on-one training and you go get a job at a CrossFit gym, that's probably not very aligned because when people go to CrossFit, they're kind of expecting group workouts, right? And then we've got timelines. So we want to set timelines and even sub deadlines for everything that we're doing. So let's sort of look at an example of creating ourselves a goal. We've got to work from some reverse engineering here. So I'm going to just pull up a blank sheet so that I can kind of type some stuff as we go. And Toko, I know you've already been talking about starting to work as a trainer at the Granville Club. So I'm going to use you as the example here. So we're going to reverse engineer and figure out what it's going to look like when you first start working as a trainer. And I'm going to make some round numbers. So you'll do this again with Stephanie when you start. But let's say that you want to start working part-time as a trainer. How much money would you like to make, or how many hours do you want to work? Have you thought about that at all?
If it's part-time, it would be like 4 hours a day because
Okay.
my other work is 8 hours a day.
So you're going to work towards 4 hours a day. Do you want to do that 4 days a week, 5 days a week?
5.
All right. So ideally, we want to get Toko to the point where she's actually working with clients versus just doing service time. So for example, there's a difference between how much you make when you're doing service time versus how much you make if you're working with clients. So let's say that at level 1, Toko's going to make $28 per session. We want to get to the point where if we do 4 sessions a day, 5 days a week, that's 20 sessions per week. The average month has 4 weeks in it, so that's 80 sessions per month. And so what that's going to equal, get my calculator out here. So if we did 80 sessions a month times $28, that's going to make us $2,240. Okay. So we can either start with days of the week or we can start with money one way or the other, but we sort of want to see what that looks like. Okay. So now, Toko, if you want to do 80, or let's use the weekly. If you want to do 20 sessions a week, how many clients do you need?
I want to do 20 hours a week. How many clients do I need?
Yeah.
In order to maximize my income? Is that what you're asking?
Well, you said I want to do 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. So let's just start from there. That's 20 sessions a week. In order to service 20 sessions a week, how many clients do you need?
Oh, sorry. If they are working with me, let's say maybe twice a week, or should I say 3 times a week? Maybe it's easier to do twice a week.
Well, that's the calculation, right? So
yeah.
I would say we at least want to do twice a week. Some people might do 3.
Yeah.
So, what if we said at an average of 2.5 sessions per week? Okay, so then if we have 20 sessions and our clients are training an average of 2.5 sessions per week, we go 20 divided by 2.5, we need 8 clients.
8, yeah.
So what that might mean is you have a couple people doing twice a week and you have a couple doing 3 times per week, but you need 8 clients. All right. So we're going to pause on that for a minute. You're like, okay, cool. I want to work 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. I need 8 clients. Well, now we have to go and look at some of the business metrics that are going to tell us, well, what do I have to do to get those 8 clients? Okay. So now on this page, I've given you an example of what some of the industry metrics are. And I'll sort of walk you through it here. So when you first start 0 clients, you're going to start working at the gym. They're going to give you some service hours. What we want, service hours might be like working at the front desk, cleaning up equipment, making phone calls, running like demos, doing evaluations, things like that. What we want out of a service hour is that you're actually able to book some appointments. So let's say I'm working at the front desk, I'm checking people in, I'm answering questions, I'm answering the phones. What I want to try to do is get 5 people to come and do a consultation or a session with me in the next couple of days. So let's say Toko starts on Monday, she's working at the front desk for a couple of hours, and she's able to get 6 or 7 appointments booked into the next couple of days. So now when she comes in on Tuesday, she's got a 5 o'clock appointment, and then she works on the desk at 6. And then the next day she's got a 5 o'clock and a 6 o'clock appointment. So that's cool. And then the day after that, she's got a 6 o'clock and a 7 o'clock. So the idea is that as you're doing service time, you're trying to get people to come to do a workout with you. Once we have some appointments booked, we know that about half of them show up. So, someone gets busy at work or they decide last minute that they're too tired, they don't want to come, whatever. They haven't paid for anything yet. So we typically see that half of the time they'll show up. And as you first start doing those evaluation sessions, we know when you're new that out of about the first 10 appointments you do, you'll get 1 client. So every time you do 10 appointments, you end up with 1 client. As you get more practice and more experienced and you learn how to screen inquiries and you start to get referrals, then your percentage of your closing percentage will go up. So you might meet with 10 people, you might sign up 4 of them, right? So those are kind of some important metrics because we've got to use those to create our plan. So now when we go back into our plan, okay, if I want to get 8 clients, well, if at first as a new trainer, if your closing percentage is 10%, what that means is you're going to have to do 80 appointments to get those 8 clients. Does that make sense, Toko?
Yes.
Okay. So then if we're looking at those 4 hours a day that you're in the gym, if you have 1 appointment and 3 service hours, it's going to take you a lot longer to get to 80 appointments. But if you have 3 or 4 appointments and 0 or 1 service hours, you're going to get those 80 appointments done a lot faster, right? So you're going to gain your clients faster. So again, if we were to say like January is the goal for 8 clients, right? We've got 3 months to get there. 3 months breaks down into 12 weeks, give or take. So if you were focused on getting 1 client per week, give or take, then you'd end up with your 8 clients by the end of January, right? So then out of your 20 hours per week, you want to make sure you have at least 10 appointments because that's going to give you that 1 client. So really what that means is you need 2 appointments per day. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, if you have 2 appointments every day, then you're going to get that client every week, and then you're going to get the 8 clients you need by the time you get to the end of January. So we took this big goal, which was I want 20 sessions a month, and we broke it down. 20 sessions a month is 8 clients. 8 clients, we need 80 appointments. 80 appointments over 3 months. Well, we really only need 2 appointments a day. That's not so bad, right? So then every day you come in, you want to do your 2 appointments, but then you also want to look at tomorrow and make sure you have 2 appointments tomorrow and 2 appointments the next day. So as you come in and you start working with people, you're both doing the work of the day and also making sure that your next day is set up. And as long as you do that, then you'll reach your goal. What I find sometimes is, let's say you end up with 3 appointments in one day. So let's say Monday, like over the weekend, some new people signed up for membership. They get put into your calendar for their initial appointment with a trainer. So you get to the gym Monday, you've got 3 appointments and you're like, whoa, I worked all day and I did 3 appointments. Man, I'm tired. I'm going to go home. But then, oops, you don't have any appointments on Tuesday. So then you come to the gym on Tuesday and you're like, oh man, I just got to like work at the front desk. All right. So then maybe you work at the desk for an hour and you get someone to book in on Thursday. But then you still don't have anybody on Wednesday. You get to Thursday, you do your 1 appointment, and then you get 1 more person on Friday, but then they didn't show up because it's Friday, they didn't want to work out. So now it's been a week, you've only done 4 appointments. You didn't get a client this week. Shoot, now you're not gonna reach your goal, or you're gonna have to catch up next week, right? So that's kind of the mistake that I find a lot of trainers make when they're new. They don't look ahead. They're not looking at their setup, right? So maybe it's been a couple weeks. Maybe you've got 2 clients. So now you have a 5 o'clock and a 6 o'clock on Tuesday and Thursday. And you're like, man, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I work all day and then I go to the gym and I train 2 clients. I'm kind of tired. But if you don't ever get more appointments in on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then you're just training your 2 clients. You don't have any more. You wanted 8. You got to keep going until you get to 8, right? And then even when you have 8, at some point, one of them is going to be like, hey, thanks so much. You helped me reach my goal. High five, I'm done. Or, hey, this has been really great. I'd love to keep going, but like, I can't pay for personal training on an ongoing basis. So even when you have 8, you still want to be doing some appointments. You still want to be talking to new people because you're not going to keep those 8 forever. They're going to come and go out of your schedule, right? So good trainers will gain clients and then just focus on training. Great trainers will prospect and gain clients and then train those clients, but always keep prospecting, always keep talking to new people, because they know that even though they do a really good job, some of their clients aren't going to stay with them forever. So that is kind of what business planning is. I got to work with the people I have. I want to try to keep them. And if I'm not going to be able to keep them, I want to add somebody new. And we've always got to have a little bit of variety and a little bit of life in our business so that we don't get stale, right? So that's kind of an example of a business plan. So then from there, that allows you to sort of create this breakdown. And at the end of it all, what I say is like, you've got to stick to your schedule. So let's say Toko gets 5 and 6 p.m. on Tuesday and Thursday, feeling pretty good about it, but we still want to be able to have some extra clients. So maybe at 7 o'clock, she's got to stay at the gym and do a service hour and talk to some people and make sure that she gets some appointments into Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you don't do that, then you eventually run dry, right? So I sometimes like to talk about the first year of being a trainer is it's kind of like if you work at Starbucks, you go to Starbucks, you punch in, you put your apron on, you make coffee. A little bit of the personal trainer job is like show up, make coffee. There's a book called Chop Wood and Carry Water. And what that means is in the summer, you chop wood and carry water. And then in the winter, you chop wood and carry water. And then in the spring, you chop wood and carry water, right? And part of what that means is like every day you need water. So you got to carry water every day. But in the summer, do you need to make a fire? Do you need to burn wood? Probably not. But you need a lot of wood in the winter. So if every day you chop wood and carry water, when you need to have a lot of wood in the winter, you have it. But if all summer long, all you did was carry water, and then you get to the winter and you're like, oh my God, I got to chop wood, you're going to be cold. Or you're going to have to chop a lot of wood. So the idea with being a trainer is carry water is like train clients. I always want to be training clients, but I also have to be talking to new people all the time. That's the chop wood part. So I got to make sure that I kind of keep those two things going all the time. If you look at talking to new people and sort of keeping a funnel available for new clients, if you look at that as being service oriented, like I want to get to know you, I want to find out how I can help you, I want to show you something. If you look at gaining clients as being predominantly service, I think you'll like it a lot better because you're just trying to help people. If you look at that sheet of numbers that I created for Toko and you're like, oh my God, I have to sell stuff. Like if you look at client acquisition as selling, then I don't know that you're going to like it as much, right? So I do really think that we need to have a little bit of a sales process. I do think that we need to practice the language and the conversation around getting someone to say yes to training. But if you're bad at service and science and you're really good at selling, then you're just always going to have to be selling. Right? Because you might get someone to sign up, but then when they work with you, they're like, ugh, that's not good service. That's not smart science. And so then they leave, and then you have to sell again the next person. Whereas if you're really good at service and science, I feel like the selling part's actually really easy. Like they're on the gym floor. They really like working with you. Yeah, they want to do more. By the time you go sit down and say, okay, here's what it looks like, they're like, yeah, cool, let's do that one. And then you keep giving them great service and you keep using science to do a good job of working with them, then they want to keep working with you. And then they tell their friends about you. And then their friends are like, oh my God, my friend loves training with you. I'd really love to train with you. Right? And if you have someone on the gym floor that you keep talking to and you really like them, but they haven't hired you yet, but you just keep giving them great service and you're helping them with science, that's where the selling actually happens. So I think this is a culture thing. I think there's teams and companies and managers and leaders that do a really good job of being service and science oriented, but they still have a sales process because you need one, right? And then I think there can be teams and companies and leaders and managers who maybe just get really fixated on the numbers and they're like, come on, you got to sell more. Come on, you need more clients. Come on, you got to make enough money, right? Ultimately, it's the same thing. but I always say the wolf you feed grows. So if you're a new trainer and you're really focusing on great service and learning more and building up your science and getting more comfortable talking to people, you're sort of feeding like the service and the science wolf, you'll get there. But if you don't really have good service, you're not really focused on empathy and rapport building, and your programming sucks, and you don't really know how to queue up exercise, like I consider that to be science related, right? And then you're like, man, I got to get better at overcoming objections. I got to get better at selling. I don't know. What are you selling? You're selling something that isn't very valuable. But if you work on making your service and your science more valuable, then the practice that you put into selling, well, now you're selling something that has value, that has meaning, right? So it is a three-pronged approach on purpose. It is service, science, and sales. You got to do all three. If you're really terrible at one, it's going to hold you back no matter what. But if you're really focused on building that sort of three-pronged approach, then great. And not to scare anybody, but it is a big first year. You learn a lot in the job on your first. You learn a lot on the job in your first year. So you have to kind of be willing to be a student of the job, right? You came to our course. It's pretty accelerated. We get a lot done in 8 weeks. You got to study on your own and, do all this stuff. Your whole first year as a trainer is kind of similar. You got to be willing to show up and be a student of the job, because you're going to learn a lot, and it's hard work, but it's really rewarding. It's really awesome. As long as you remember why you did it in the first place, right? Like, I want to help people. I love fitness. I want to share my passion, right? So we do that, and then we're able to get there. Okay. So we're going to talk more about prospecting, and we're going to talk more about the sales process in the next 2 calls, but there's some stuff about marketing and advertising that comes up on the exam. So I want to make sure that we cover that as well. So according to Peter Drucker, the primary functions of a business are innovation and marketing. So innovation is an idea aimed at solving a problem, and marketing is communicating the benefit or solution that you offer. So Asif, give me an example of a problem somebody might have where they might need to hire a trainer as a solution.
Like they need to hire a trainer to get better in their, like, as a trainer. That's what you mean?
Someone at the gym who hires a trainer, what might they be looking for training? Yeah, you got someone who comes.
Yeah, a little bit cut out.
To the gym, someone who comes to the gym.
Oh, did we lose Rolf?
There we go.
Oh.
All right, let's try that again.
Yeah.
So, Asif, someone comes to the gym, they need to hire a trainer. Why might they need to hire a trainer?
Because they actually want to get a help from professionals to achieve what they want to achieve. Their specific goals: losing weight, gaining weight, looking better, in a certain shape, strength, stamina.
Yeah.
So that's the trainer's job to help them to reach their goals.
You got it. So let's look at weight loss for a second. They're like, I need to hire a trainer. I need to lose some weight. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Some gyms, all the trainers do is exercise, workout, 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 workout. Maybe there's another gym down the street and they do exercise, but they also offer nutrition coaching.
Yeah.
So if you're the gym that offers exercise and nutrition, You're innovative. You're like, hey, we do something different. We do something new. We also do nutrition coaching. That's going to make it better and easier for you to lose weight. But if nobody knows you're there down the street and nobody knows that you offer nutrition coaching, then they don't know to come to you. They don't know that you're a better option, right?
Yeah.
So if we go back to our slide and we look at the definition here, like our innovative idea was, hey, let's offer nutrition coaching too. Well, now we also have to communicate that out because otherwise people don't know. So you can't just have good ideas. People have to know that you have good ideas, right? So marketing is the planning, execution, and management of business initiatives intended for the mutually beneficial exchange or transfer of products and or services between the buyer and the seller. Blah, 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 blah. What a mouthful, right? Advertising is your public declaration of a compelling message illuminating the benefits of your products and or services to your potential customer with the intention of prompting them to action. All right, let's look at the difference between those two. Marketing is planning and managing how I'm going to talk to my consumers. Advertising is the actual thing, right? So an example of advertising would be if you take out an ad in the paper. Marketing would be going, hey, I think we should put an ad in the paper and it should have a picture and it should have a coupon because we want people to come and turn in the coupon to get a discount on their first training package, right? So marketing and advertising are a little bit different, but they kind of go hand in hand. Now, who do we want to target? Again, these are exam questions, right? So when we look at who could be a client in the fitness space, well, youth is certainly one option. There's more than 9 million overweight children in the US alone, right? So maybe we want to get into kids fitness. Now, most gyms don't, as an example, so that maybe there needs to be other things that we look at for getting the youth involved in exercise, but that's a demographic for sure. Then we also have the baby boomers, and that's the market segment considered to have the most spending power. So there's more 65-year-olds alive now than there has ever been in the history of the world. And more people are turning 65 every day because they're part of a big population spike, right? So if you're a trainer and you're like, oh, I only want to work with people in their 20s that are fit and that want to work out really hard. All right, well, I don't know, but most 20-year-olds don't have thousands of extra dollars to work with trainers. And they're already pretty fit and healthy. So then they might not even really think that they need you, right? But the baby boomers, they've worked their whole lives. They're retired. They've got, their retirement nest egg or whatever. And they're out of shape, overweight, in pain. And they're like, oh my God, I got to do something or else my health is going to go down. My quality of life is going to go down, right? So we got to look at the baby boomers as likely being a population group that really needs what we do, and also they probably want it too, right? We also look at women as a separate group. Women can be baby boomers, right? But women could actually control 83% of all consumer purchases. So when we do our advertising and our marketing, we might want to think about the fact that the person who's actually deciding to spend the money is a female. We might market a little differently if we think it's a female that's going to be purchasing the product, right? So like if you look at hair products, if you look at the men's shampoo bottles versus the women's shampoo bottles, they're different, right? So if the only thing on the shelf was all these black shampoo bottles with like neon blue stripes through them or whatever, the women would be like, well, that's not for me. I'm not, that's not what I want, right? So we might think about our advertising and marketing in that same way, okay? Couple of sort of general business things. There's 3 ways to increase revenue, right? Over time, we want our business to grow. So we can increase the total number of customers. We can increase the frequency of purchase per customer, or we could increase the quantity of purchase per customer. Now, fitness is not the easiest way to understand that. So let's pick something else. Let's look at toffee. My former boss who hired me when I moved to Vancouver, She left fitness and she now makes toffee. It's really good too. It's called Two Brothers Toffee. If you like toffee, you should check it out. Anyways, plug aside. Let's talk about increasing revenue as making toffee. So number one, she could sell her toffee to more people. So maybe she's got 100 people on her customer list and she wants to do like a Facebook promotion so that she can get 150 people on her list. So now she has more customers. So that's one way of increasing revenue. The second thing, frequency of purchase. I'll use myself as an example. Maybe I buy one bag of toffee every 6 weeks. So like I buy a bag and then I eat it and then I run out and then I'm like, oh shoot, I'm out. And then like I order another bag. So maybe she decides, you know what, I'm going to do a toffee box of the month or like a box of toffee. So if you sign up for this like subscription thing, you get a box or a bag of toffee every single month. And so if you sign up for this subscription, I charge you automatically. I send it out automatically. And I'm like, hey, that's a good idea. So I sign up. Now I'm buying a bag of toffee every month. So instead of 6 weeks, now it's every 4 weeks. So now I buy, I don't know, 52 weeks divided by 4 instead of 52 weeks divided by 6, right? So now I'm buying toffee more often. Third thing is quantity. So maybe right now I'm only buying one bag of toffee because she only sells milk toffee and I like it, so I buy one. But then she comes out with s'mores toffee. That's a real thing, by the way. She makes s'mores toffee. Oh my God, I want to try that. So I get my regular milk because I know I like that, but then I also get s'mores. So now I'm buying 2 bags at the same time. So all of those would be ways of increasing revenue, right? Now, if we were going to look at fitness, okay, if I had more clients, I would make more money. Frequency of purchase. If I took my clients from twice a week training to 3 times a week training, then I would make more from that same person. And quantity is a little bit different, but let's say I go get my precision nutrition level 1. Now I have more service that I can offer. So now I'm actually going to charge my clients more. I was charging them 70 before. Now I'm going to charge them 80 because now I'm able to help them with all this nutrition stuff. So that's kind of an example of quantity in the realm of personal training. Okay. All right. Last little section for today. This is kind of new. If you follow us on Instagram, you may have seen me post a little bit about the stuff that we did with the day class yesterday. Again, one of the reasons why we like PTA Global, because they've updated their content to include some things that are more relevant for business today. So social media marketing. I've seen a number of you on Instagram. So what you have to decide is, you know, how you're going to engage with your community. Social media is important. Like this generation uses it all the time. We use it to stay connected, to communicate, to buy things, to all kinds of stuff, right? So it is an important aspect of communicating, and it gets your personal and professional info out in front of thousands of potential clients. What you want that to do is bring clients to you and your gym, or you and your health club, right? So we've got lots of options. We've got Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, website. There's lots of different options. You kind of have to decide where the best value is. I don't think you want to have every single platform, right? Because that would be a full-time job in and of itself. But I would say at the moment, Facebook and Instagram are kind of the two that make the most sense. Instagram maybe a little bit more so than Facebook. There's been sort of a shift, and people don't necessarily do Facebook as much anymore. But like you know, if you work for yourself, if you have your own business, you got to have a website. If you work for a gym, they probably have a website, right? So then you're just looking for ways to integrate and leverage those strengths. So a couple of recommendations here. We want to use pictures and videos as much as possible. Pictures grab people's attention and the followers are more engaged. When it comes to fitness, I think showing a video of an exercise movement or something like that probably makes more sense. And a big part of what social media is all about is engagement. So I want followers, likes, shares, comments, right? I want to post something that people interact with. So, you know, if you ask a question, or if you generate content that people think is funny and they want to share it, or they think it's valuable and they want to share it, that's kind of where things start to get rolling. Okay. So the way that we can do that is to add value, right? Show them what you know, have a sense of humor, be appropriate about it, right? But add value. So maybe you're making posts about how to live a healthier life. You want to make them easy to understand, because basically you're talking to people that aren't your clients yet. So you don't really know how much they know, right? So you want to make it simple. Your goal would be to educate and show them how you can help them. So you kind of want to stick to topics that clients and potential clients are interested in. And what I always recommend is like try stuff and see what works, like see what people post or comment about versus what totally gets ignored, right? And you can kind of use your own platform as a little bit of an experiment. In general, we recommend being consistent and active. So if you post once a day or every other day or a couple of times a week, like you want to sort of keep a fairly consistent cadence. And we got to be careful about the difference between useful and not useful time, right? So if I post something, I answer a few comments, I get into my DMs, I answer those people, that's useful. But if I just spend a bunch of time scrolling and looking at other people's stuff, that's not really helping me build my own business, right? So social media is tough because it can suck the hours out of your day unless you have like a dedicated, this is what I'm going to do, get in, do it, get out kind of strategy, right? The goal with getting people engaged, though, is to actually spin it off into a real life conversation. So if someone follows me, I might send them a DM and say, hey, thanks so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. You know, are you currently exercising or working out? What kind of exercise do you like to do? Like, I'm trying to get them into a conversation, because ultimately what I want them to do, if I work at a gym, if I'm a personal trainer, what I want them to do is come to my gym and meet with me, right? So if they follow me, I might engage in a conversation. I might check out their feed, follow them back, like a couple of pictures, right? I might say, hey, if there's anything you're interested in seeing, let me know. Sometimes I put out a little thing that's like, hey, generating content ideas. What do you guys want to see more of? Right? So we sort of want to be productive with the time we spend, and ultimately create excitement around your personal and professional brand. I had the senior manager of marketing for Fitness World come and talk to the students for a few minutes yesterday, because this is her job. She's the expert, right? So I said, what do you think trainers should do? What do you think they should post about? And so she said, people want to see client success stories, like before and after pictures, or, congratulations, Sue, she got her first pull up today, right? Stuff like that. They also want to see what you do. Like, what's the style of training that you do? A lot of times, let's say I post a kettlebell video and people are like, oh my God, I've always wanted to learn how to do that. Cool, come in, I'll show you, right? We might post healthy tips, recipes, little quotes, little motivational quotes, right? Like that kind of stuff. If you're not super familiar with social media, I would say go and look at what you see other people doing, what's interesting, what looks good. And then I said to Hannah, like, tell me a little bit about like aesthetic versus content. She says it's about 60-40. So 60% content, 40% what it looks like. What that means is you want to have decent quality pictures and video, right? So if the video is super shaky, or if it's crooked, or I see this it's Squattober right now, right? So I see this all the time. I'm scrolling and on the feed, I see like a hand and a crotch because someone's like setting up their camera, and then they like go away and then they do their squat and then they come back and the hand and the crotch and then they shut it off again. But when I'm scrolling, all I see is like this. That's not a very interesting, good quality video, right? So I might want to edit it so that it just shows me doing my squat versus me doing this in the screen. So little things like that, the appearance, the quality, the lighting, stuff like that, the color scheme, like it does matter a little bit, especially because it's a curated, it's authentic, but it's curated authentic, right? So we got to think about that a little bit. I also say things like, think about what you're wearing, think about the camera angle, think about, that kind of stuff. So those are things that might just give us a more polished and professional appearance, right? So showing them healthy habits. Now, I kind of say here, like we're not trying to be perfect. We're not trying to scare people with how intimidated we are. So yeah, I'm going to post some healthy things, but like also sometimes I eat pizza, and it's okay to then say like, hey, I've had a really busy week. I love this pizza. I'm treating myself, because balance, you know, like I think that's okay too. But what you want to do is avoid negative stuff, avoid politics, right? You don't want to bash other people, because then that just shows you that you're the kind of person that bashes other people. So like a pet peeve of mine is if I ever see former students post like those gym fail videos, or they reshare, ha ha ha, look at this idiot, doesn't even know how to use the whatever machine. All that does is shows that you're the type of person that's like judgmental and laughs at people, right? So imagine I've been watching you at the gym and you look like a really good trainer, and then I follow you on Instagram and you post like this gym fail. I'm kind of worried that you're going to judge me. So now I don't want to train with you, because you've kind of shown that like you're not very empathetic to like someone who's new, right? Similarly, I don't really recommend like getting involved in trolling, like, oh, your form sucks, why'd you post that, bro? Like you kind of want to think about it from the perspective of being a professional. You're probably gonna attract people who agree with you. You want to sort of like, you don't want people trolling your comments. So imagine I post a video of Sue and she gets her first pull up and I'm like, yeah, congratulations. Imagine I tag her and she's like super proud of it. And then imagine she's like reading the comments and someone on there goes like, whoa, that wasn't even like full range of motion. Like, you suck. I don't want Sue to see that on my page. Like, I want her to have a safe space in my feed, right? So I think it's important to sort of manage that and make sure that you're sort of in control of your persona, your personality, the people that engage with you, right? Tell you something, I have never unfollowed more people than during COVID. So basically anyone that was posting like conspiracies and bullshit science and don't wear a mask, it's just the government trying to control you, like I just unfollowed all of those people. I'm not interested. Right? So social media is a valuable way of helping people get to know you, but it's also a way that people can get to know you. So you got to think about what you put out there. And the idea too is if you put it out there, even if you delete it, it's out there, right? People screenshot stuff, people cross post, people save things. So you got to just be a little bit smart. So keep your party pictures out. If you want to have a party account, that's fine, but have a separate professional account if that's the case. Right? So you can be a little bit personal. If you have a science or a training account, you can be a little bit personal sometimes, but just think about the balance, right? We want to do more content, less promotion, not no promotion, but just not too much of it. And so you want to be posting stuff for the most part that helps people engage with you, right? All right. I have done some free courses myself on social media stuff just because it's part of how we run our business. So there's Instagram courses on LinkedIn. There's a Facebook blueprint course that teaches you all about advertising on Facebook, like boosting posts if you want to do stuff like that. There's also Google courses for business listings. So if you want to learn some additional things, there's always free courses that you can take to do that. Okay. So we'll take a quick little pause there. Any questions on that? We went over some apps and stuff in the day class that I use, but that was just sort of anecdotally like what I like. I wouldn't necessarily consider it to be valuable to add onto this, but any questions that we have about social media stuff? All right, cool. I encourage you to get into it, experiment, play around. I guess one of the biggest recommendations that I can make is if you are going to do it, schedule it. So like schedule Mondays at 4:00, I'm going to film a bunch of content, and Tuesdays I'm going to edit it, and then I'm going to post every Wednesday for the next month, right? So like if you create a little bit of a schedule, then you don't sort of fall down the hole of like, oh man, I'm tired, I got to get on social media today, scroll, shit, it's been 25 minutes and I still haven't done anything. So if you treat it like work and you schedule it like work, then that can be helpful. Okay. All right, last couple of slides on today's business stuff. We're going to look at the 5 P's of marketing. So there's usually a couple exam questions on this section. So we've got product, price, place, promotion, and public relations. And this is just kind of general marketing information, right? So we're going to look at how to apply that to fitness. So product is essentially your core product. It's what you sell. And fitness can be a little bit intangible because let's say, if you want to hire me, you're what? Buying time, buying sessions. Like the reason you're hiring me is because you want to gain muscle or get stronger or get fitter or learn something. But like you're kind of buying time. That's a little bit of a funny intangible thing, right? So you have to have a core product. So let's say now I'm defining my time as 50-minute sessions. And then part of how I'm going to sort of build value around what you and I do together is like, hey, you and I are going to train together 3 times a week. We're going to do a phase of trains. We're going to train together for a month. I'm also going to give you some stuff to do on the days in between because I know you like to work out almost every day. And at the end of the month, I'm going to make sure that you have the program that you're going to follow for the following month. So now it's just like, oh, okay, cool. So we're going to do 12 sessions together. You're going to write my program so that I have stuff to do all 5 days. And then you're also going to give me another program for the next month. Okay, cool. I get it. That's a little bit more tangible, right? So we kind of want to find a way to do that. Product extensions are other things, right? So in the gym, we might have massage or tanning, or we might do health screenings. Maybe we have kids classes. Maybe we run seminars. So product extensions can be a way for you to build on your business in addition to whatever your core product is. So if we look at Fitness World, I would say they've got 3 levels of membership. And at the highest level, you get hydro massage and tanning, and you get the works classes for free, and all the group fitness classes are all included, and unlimited child minding as well, if your gym has child minding. Okay, so those are product extensions, and now that's gonna sort of reflect the higher membership cost because there's more value. Okay. The next one is price, and that's the most manipulated, right? So people change price all the time. There's expensive memberships, there's less expensive memberships, there's super cheap memberships. So if you're going to create a business, you've got to figure out what your pricing is. There's no governing body that says personal training is $72 a session. That's not a thing. So you got to consider the willingness of the consumer to pay, the level of profit that you're seeking, and the sort of price versus quality relationship, right? So sometimes what can be helpful with price is like doing a little bit of market research, like looking at what other people charge. What are you offering in comparison? What are you charging in comparison? So that can be something that helps you set your price. Then we look at place. So this has changed more so in the last 4 months because now sometimes place is online or over Zoom or a live streaming platform, right? It's different now. But you gotta, when you look at a live space, research shows that your clients are going to be drawn from about a 5-kilometer or a 10-minute radius. So fitness is all about convenience, right? So Toko, you live pretty close to downtown, right? You work out downtown.
Yeah, I live in downtown.
Perfect. You live in downtown, you work downtown, you train downtown. Even though I'm a really good trainer and you might really like to work with me, you're not going to drive all the way out to South Surrey for the sake of training.
Yeah, I guess not.
Probably not, right?
Yeah, not 3 times a week.
Not 3 times a week, exactly. I'd have to be so good and it would have to be so worth it for you to go to that trouble, right? So place is kind of important. Again, if you're going to create a business, you want to be accessible. You want people to know you're there. You want it to be easy to get to. Parking is paramount. Maybe not downtown. Nobody really expects to be able to park downtown. But if you're out in Langley, say, and you've got people driving, 10 minutes from their house, if your gym doesn't have parking, forget it. They're not going to come to you, right? So we got to think about that a little bit, and the people that decide where they're going to build a gym or what real estate they're going to use or whatever, that's something that they have to think about for sure. Promotion, what is promotion? Well, let's say I charge $100 a session for training, but if you buy 20 sessions or more, I'll charge you $95. That's an example of a promotion. Or it could be like, hey, for Christmas, if you buy sessions in December, let's say if you buy 10 sessions, I'll give you 1 session for free as a, hey, happy Christmas bonus gift, right? Or let's say I go to a course and I'm about to move my level up. So I'm going to go from $70 to $80, but I'm going to give my clients 2 weeks. So I'm going to level up November 1st. But if you're a current client of mine and you want to buy sessions before November 15th, I'll give you the $70 rate one more time. So you might not have quite run out yet, but I'm going to let you buy additional sessions at the lower rate. Those would be examples of promotions, okay? And then public relations, I also kind of call this people sometimes because it's cheaper and easier to keep a client than to find a new one. So if building a business comes from client retention, making clients and keeping them happy is really, making clients happy and keeping them happy is really important, right? So once you're already training with me, if I'm reliable, if I'm trustworthy, if I enjoy doing business with you, you're more likely to stay with me. But if I'm a jerk and I lie to you and I'm like, hey, we're going to train, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 a.m. But every Monday I don't show up because I'm hungover from the weekend. People aren't going to stick around. And then I have to go to more effort, more trouble to find the next new person, right? So public relations is client retention. So if we put those into play, let's say we've got an outdoor 1-hour group PT class. That's the product. The price, well, we're going to do 4 weeks, 3 sessions a week. So that's 12 sessions. So we charge $149 in total. That's $15 per session. We're going to run these classes at the park near the gym. And then for promotion, we're going to send out an email to all the current members. And we're also going to put some flyers up around the gym. Maybe we're also going to send an email to the local sports club and say, hey, if anybody's looking to do some cross training, we're going to run this outdoor session. And then maybe for public relations, when people sign up, you give them a water bottle. And then at the end, you have them fill out a little feedback form. What did you enjoy the most? What could we do better next time? If we did it again, would you want to join it again? Right? That's kind of an example of then keeping people. Okay. So that's kind of like a quick little overview of the marketing basics. And a lot of that second section is the stuff that shows up on the exam. Toko, I got a note from you that you're coming for the Saturday, Sunday. Regan, you said you're coming Saturday. That's cool. Asif, are you able to join us for Fast Track this weekend?
Yeah, I will come for sure.
Oh, freeze again.
2 days.
Oh,
So
no.
we're reviewing it all and smashing it into a couple of days. So it'll be a really nice kind of fast-paced review for you. You'll have seen a lot of this, but it'll be kind of nice to just do it all in real time. So instead of spending a day doing business, and then we'll. Awesome job, everybody. Thanks. We're real close to the end now, so that's pretty exciting. Hopefully you're feeling comfortable, confident, feeling like you're getting there. And so, so we'll see you all on Saturday.
Oh, sorry, I have a question.